Here we go. Welcome in. It's another edition of the Joe Raineri Show, brought to you by YouWager.eu on this Monday. And what a crazy Monday it is as we all try to dissect exactly what it is that we experienced over the weekend. And can we be honest? There was some craziness in the world of sports over the weekend. So much going on between the NBA, college basketball, college football bowl games. We had our pick of the litter here this weekend as to what exactly it was that we were going to be consumed by. And we were all in the sports world, just our heads were spinning as we were consumed by so much. There were some surprises. There were some upsets. There were some head scratching. A lot of that going on, so we're going to try and make some sense of just a few of those games and a few of those situations here over the next 60 minutes. Want to welcome you in if this is the first time to the Joe Raineri Show. Thank you guys very much for stopping by here. We stream across all 5 platforms. We're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, we're on Periscope, we're on YouTube, and we are on Facebook Live. And I want to welcome in a few guys that are already joining us in the chat rooms today, like Jeremy hanging out in Facebook. Good to see you, Jeremy. Bob and Terry also hanging out with us in the Periscope arena. Good to see you guys. Jonathan over on YouTube. Nice for you guys to stop by. I certainly do appreciate it. The only thing that we ask sorry as I don't cough in your face. The only thing we ask is that if you like the content, if you like what we're laying down here, then please go ahead and hit the thumbs up on the videos, like them, subscribe to our pages, follow us. Here's how it works. Social media, they kind of got you by the little ones here. They want you to engage with the content. The more that you engage with the content, the more reach we'll have, and the more people will be able to hang out with on a daily basis. So appreciate the support as always. And we are loaded here today on the show. We got plenty going on, including our TrendyBets.com NBA play of the day. Now, for those of you guys that missed it last week, TrendyBets went 4-1 on their free NBA plays. A lot of you made a whole bunch of money last week with those free NBA plays. We're going to go ahead. We got another one. It's a new week. We're going to go ahead and get you all set up with that in just about 35 minutes. We're also going to talk to our friend, CEO of HalftimeMagic.com, Scott. And it's an interesting conversation I want to have with Scott today, because I don't know if you guys had heard the stories from over the weekend, especially last night. The amount of betting that took place on the Rams game and the Eagles game. Not that that's out of the ordinary. Obviously, Sunday night game, there were a lot of people betting it, but there was an abundance of very high-profile bets made on the Rams on the money line last night. And for those of you that don't know, the money line was a minus 700 on that game. So there were people betting 6 figures on a money line that in return, they weren't going to be winning anything even remotely close to 6 figures. So there was a lot of head scratching this morning as these stories started to roll in. Guys betting $70,000 to win $6,000. Guys willing to bet, laid down $180,000 pregame money line Rams. And, oh, yeah, at best, they were going to walk away with $20,000. So to risk $180 to only win $20 is a bit of a head-scratcher for a lot of us. And Scott, I think he's got some perspective that we all need to hear, because Scott doesn't believe at HalftimeMagic.com that you should be anywhere near full game lines, that you should be waiting until halftime in order to be able to take that data and then make a decision and figure out where the value is. So definitely can't wait to talk to him. That is coming up. Joe D'Amico, our good friend, AASIwins.com. Joe D'Amico, the legend. If you missed it, Joe joins us on Fridays, and Joe laid it out for us who he likes in tonight's Monday Night Football matchup. We'll give you the latest on the lines and where it looks like the sharp money is being played right now. New Orleans taking on Carolina. We'll get you all up to date with that. But for those of you who missed it, Joe laid it out for us on Friday. We're going to play that back for you so you can get exactly who Joe D'Amico likes in tonight's Monday Night Football matchup. Joe, of course, a legend in Las Vegas, one of the few left that have been in the sports handicapping industry for not 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We're talking 25, 30 years. He's been successful in Las Vegas doing just that, helping people like you on Monday Night Football be able to make a winning play. So he's going to drop by. He's going to talk to us here in a little while. I'll let you guys hear from him. Also, Julie Voigt. Julie Voigt from NFL Vibe, part of the ProFootballGuru.com network. And one of the biggest games over the weekend had to have been the dismantling of the Dallas Cowboys by the Indianapolis Colts. How many of you had that coming? I know a lot of you had the -3. A lot of you were banking on the Colts being able to cover that game yesterday, but I doubt a lot of you had the kind of ass-whooping that took place yesterday by that Colts team against that Cowboys team. I bet a lot of you did not see it happening that way. So, and it was nothing short of a beatdown. Now, Julie, she writes for NFL Vibe. She covers the Colts, and we're going to talk to her in just a minute. She was at the game. I want to get her perspective on what's going on with this Colts team, who is very much in the hunt for a playoff spot. I think Frank Reich should be considered as Coach of the Year, without a doubt, with what he's been able to do, rebuilding this team from the offensive line out, the rebuilding of Andrew Luck. And let us not forget, Frank Reich wasn't the first choice for the Indianapolis Colts here, people. You do realize they hired Josh McDaniel first, and Josh said, nah, I'd rather go deal with an 800-year-old Tom Brady to finish out the year instead of taking the job and dealing with, and having Andrew Luck. So Josh McDaniel was the one who was supposed to be in this position, in this job, but he turned him down, and it could very well go down in history as one of the greatest non-hires in the history of the game. By not getting Josh McDaniel, they ended up getting Frank Reich, and it has certainly paid dividends for them. He's gotten better as a first-year head coach. The team has gotten better. And right now, I don't know how many people in the AFC are looking at this Colts team going, wow, we're gonna be real lucky if we get a chance to play them. I don't think so. The Colts and that defense, which I don't think a lot of people realized how good that Colts defense is, but they certainly learned a little bit about them yesterday. So I want to talk to Julie. Can't wait to hear what she's got to say about this Colts team. But first, we do have to thank a few of our sponsors here that make this all possible on the show, including our friends at YouWager.eu. It is not only where America bets, it is where this show bets. Why? Because I've had nothing but an amazing experience with them. The last thing that you want to deal with when you are working with a sports book, or if you are trying to open up an account somewhere, is having to worry about the aggravation that comes along with having deposit money, heaven forbid, actually pulling your winnings out. I can tell you right now, personal experience, every time I have had a transaction with YouWager.eu, it has been nothing but seamless and smooth, not to mention, okay, their lines are better than most. So if you're always looking for that right number and shopping around for the right number, then I would definitely recommend that you get your account open today at YouWager.eu. If you like hassle-free experiences, if you like being able to deposit your money and then, get your money back out, YouWager.eu. It's very simple. You call them right now, 800-YouWager. That's 1-800-YouWager. And you tell them, I want my 50% bonus. Just give them the code JRS50. That's Joe Raineri Show 50, JRS50, and they will go ahead and hook you up. Hassle-free. That is what it's all about. 1-800-YouWager. Use the code JRS50. Coming up here in 23 minutes, Scott from HalftimeMagic.com. He'll tell us why you should never, ever, ever make another bet pregame again. But first, Hey guys, happy Monday, and without a doubt, the one game that a lot of people are still talking about from yesterday's slate was the demolishing of the Dallas Cowboys on the road. The Indianapolis Colts throwing up a big goose egg. That defense, oh my, Dallas Cowboy fans, trying to figure out where it went all wrong. So we thought we'd help those Cowboy fans today by bringing in somebody who was at the game, somebody who covers the Indianapolis Colts, Julie Voigt, NFL Vibe, joining us, part of the ProFootballGuru.com network. And Julie, what was it like there yesterday in the stadium for this game? Because it did look like there were a lot of Cowboy fans in attendance.
Oh boy, I was kind of scared because we walked in and all you see were people in Cowboy jerseys. And again, I had to take a quick glance. I'm like, where am I at? Am I in Dallas? What is going on here? So they were well represented yesterday, and even with the team on the field doing their warm-ups, and as soon as they would come out on the field, the cheers, it was really, really loud. And I know Lucas Oil can get pretty loud, but they were loud. So we knew they were there. They knew they weren't kidding. They knew they wanted that playoff spot, and it was kind of getting me nervous there. But once that game started rolling, and I think it was with the fake punt from D'Amico Autry that, or I'm sorry, not a fake punt,
the block.
That was the block field
Yes.
goal, yeah.
Yep.
And it was just after that, I think they kind of calmed down, and, you know, I'm usually pretty nice, but I had to let them know. You know, I screamed out, "Welcome to Indy, Cowboys fans."
Yes. Well, I mean, you know, it's funny. If you would have told us yesterday that Andrew Luck throws for under 200 yards, doesn't throw touchdowns, and yet the Colts would steamroll the Dallas Cowboys, people would have said to me, you're absolutely out of your mind, Joe. But that's exactly what happened, Julie.
Oh, yes. It was just, again, another well-played, complete game. We had Ryan Kelly come back at center, and of course, I know he's been out for a couple of weeks. He came back, and Andrew Luck was sackless again. So that is one piece that we really needed yesterday. You know, we had Mark Lewinsky out, but Joe Hay came in. They were both blocking, and it just, that offense came together. But that defense, again, you know, I've been going around all season long saying this defense is going to start doing things. This defense has what it takes. And I don't think I give defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus enough credit, but today he deserves all the credit in the world.
It was, honestly, there's a few things going on with this team and with this franchise right now. Number one, Frank Reich, in a lot of people's eyes, should be considered coach of the year. What he has done from a play calling standpoint, from rebuilding this to rebuilding Andrew Luck for that matter. And keep in mind, all of this because Josh McDaniels walked away last minute. So I think we all need to remember that too. This wasn't Frank Reich's team. This was Josh McDaniels' team. And then when he walked away, Frank Reich was available, and that's who they went with. And I don't think you can say enough great things about the job he's done as a rookie head coach either.
Oh, no, he's doing a fabulous job. You know, back then, I believe I said it before in your show, you know, with Philadelphia, he was pretty much protecting that quarterback, and I think that's what he's doing along with the Colts. And then with that staff that he has, you know, it's just all just coming together. It's a right time to come together. I think they're hot. I think they're going to be very dangerous. And you hear a lot of critics lately saying, you know, if you let this Colts team into the playoffs, you're going to get a run for your money. And I'm really sticking behind that right now. I think teams should start, you know, being a little bit scared.
Yes. Yeah, well, no, they should. I mean, let's face it. They're on the precipice of being able to clinch a wild card spot. Julie Voigt joining us, NFL Vibe, part of the ProFootballGuru.com network. And people should they should start taking notice if they haven't, number one, of the defense that you had mentioned. And when you have a team that can shut out one of the best teams going into that game yesterday, the Cowboys were one of the hottest teams. And let us not forget, prior to that, the Houston Texans were actually on a pretty good roll there too, having won, I think, 7 or 8 or going into that game. The Colts beat them. The Cowboys, a 5-game winning streak. Colts take care of business them. And they're doing it without Andrew Luck having to throw for 400 or 500 yards every game. They're doing it with defense. They're doing it with a running game. And, oh, yeah, they're protecting Andrew Luck. What a shock.
yes, it's just, phenomenal at what this team, and here a lot of people are, we'll wait till next year, till next season, what's Ballard doing? Is he crazy? No, Ballard is a genius. I think, with Frank Reich and all his staffing, Andrew Luck being healthy, that O-line, you can't forget about that. They're definitely making some, good play calls and everything, with Marlon Mack and T.Y. and Ebron and everything. But the defense is staying it for a while. Just watch them. And,
yeah.
I'm as shocked probably as anyone, that they're making so many great changes at the right time for the season. I can't even begin to imagine for the next couple of seasons how this team is going to be.
Yep, and keep in mind, too, Dallas came into that game yesterday ranked third against the rush, and Marlon Mack, I think, toasted him for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns, a huge performance. I mean, that is not a slouch of a run defense by the Dallas Cowboys in any stretch of the imagination, but maybe even more impressive. And last time you were on the show, Julie, you had talked about it. You said, we've got some rookies on this defensive front. We got some linebackers. We got some guys that are really starting to play. And then with one of the best rushing attacks in the game, Ezekiel Elliott, one of the best running backs in the game. You guys stuffed them not once, but a few times on 4th and 1. Jason Garrett usually doesn't go for anything risky. He kept going for it, and the Indianapolis Colts defense kept having answers for him all day long yesterday. It truly was impressive, including that rookie linebacker that you got on that team is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they blocked their tails off yesterday, and, Darius Leonard, he already has added up 146 tackles this season, and yesterday he had 11, and they want to go ahead and compare with Vander Esch that he should be the rookie defensive player of the year. No, I think we're going to stick with Darius Leonard. He's a little crazy, but not only that, but with Danico Autry as well. Just adding him alone, he's just he's had 3 consecutive games with recorded sacks. And again, our rookie yesterday, Tyquan Lewis, he had 2 sacks, and that's his first game yesterday. So these rookies are really starting to shine up on this defense.
All right, well, let's talk about it. Julie Voigt joining us, NFL Vive, part of the ProFootballGuru.com network. Julie, let me ask you, moving forward now, a couple of weeks left in the season, what's in front of you? What do you think is do they control their own destiny, do you think? Is it just win out and hope the football gods, go ahead and allow you guys to get a break here or there?
I was really getting nervous with the Dallas game, with Amari Cooper and everything, and they really proved me wrong yesterday, I will say that. So, we have the Giants coming up next. Again, we have to watch and keep an eye out on Saquon Barkley. And, but, we know the story with Eli Manning and everything. He's a little bit shaky. I think we can take care of this this coming week. And then we go to Tennessee for that last Titans game. I really think anything with the AFC, we're definitely going to have to wait until that last game of the season because, just everything's so crazy. We're still, tied with Baltimore. We had Dolphins yesterday lose out. And, again, the Steelers, they could have lost one, to help us out there. I try to rely on the Patriots, but every time I put my faith in them, they fail me. So,
so
crazier things have happened, I guess,
It's so true.
But it's just going to be a crazy, crazy ride, I think, all the way up to the end.
Yeah, and it's going to come down to it right now. You've got both the Colts 8-6 and the Titans 8-6. Kind of, they're just on the outside looking in right now. Ravens, Chargers are pretty much going to lock up that one spot. So it's the Ravens or nothing. At this point, looking in for that number 6 seed. And like you said, it's going to come down to that Titans game in all likelihood, and it's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks for the Indianapolis Colts, who I think even you would admit, Julie, a lot of fans, a lot of people with this team, it was kind of a wait and see. There weren't a lot of big expectations heading into this year, were there?
No, there weren't. You had, again, Andrew Luck coming back. Everyone's like, oh, he's over. He's not going to do much of anything. All the draft picks that, Ballard picked out for us, what was he thinking? Why didn't he get another wide receiver? Just things like that. And then a lot of, Le'Veon Bell talk that we should go ahead and acquire him and things like that. A lot of people were just a little bit wishy-washy on the Colts, but I'm just so happy with what they're doing. And I think it was in the beginning of the preseason, when I did started writing again for Russell, I preached patience. Every game, every loss, even we were 1-5, I just kept writing, we need patience. And I'm just happy to, say that thank goodness for the patience that some of us had. Look at where we're at right now, and be careful because I think we're going far.
Yes, no, that's right. And very well said earlier when you said if America wasn't aware of what the Colts were on defense and what kind of team this is, they are certainly aware now after the dismantling of the Dallas Cowboys. Hottest teams going into the weekend. People know they have just taken notice, Jolie, so it'll be very interesting if the Colts can get into that number 6 spot there. Julie Voigt at NFL_Vibe. I've got the picture up on the screen here for the viewers. Julie, tell us a little bit about the NFL Vibe.
Well, me and pro football guru, which I like to call him Boss Man, Russell Baxter, me and him collaborate together on certain big games of the week, and we write about it. We call it Vibe because it's Voigt's insights, Baxter's expertise, and together we throw out as much information on the big games, especially now with the playoffs coming on. I think we're going to have a little bit more audience. So many people love it. So many people support it. Big and better things are coming in the off season for us, and just follow us, and hopefully you won't be disappointed.
No, you gotta get it, guys. Russell's a good friend of the show here. We've talked to him many times, and Julie, we're so glad to be able to get you on here. I love the stuff. NFL_Vibe at NFL_Vibe on Twitter, guys. It is a must follow, and you also got a pretty good podcast going on right now as well, don't you?
Yeah. So currently I'm teaming up with Jim Jacks, and we do For the Fan NFL podcast, and we do it every week. We'll be doing it every week, even through the off season. And together with Wanda Weidman, she is a big, huge Chicago Bears fan. So both of us, we're all in our glory right now with her team, my team. And we also do, or personally I do, Joel's Colts Corner. And it's just a few minutes of, with Jim Jacks. And we just go ahead and talk about, the game and a preview of what's coming up next. And, we're just a positive bunch of people. We're trying to bring a lot of positivity into the NFL. And, even with our podcast that we do together, we'll do, different stories. Like we did concession stand foods, the top 10 best concession stand food. And then last week we also did, one of the most NFL what is it called? The criminals of the NFL.
Yes.
So we link it together with, the NFL. We have fun. We're positive. There's enough negativity out there that we just don't want to deal with. And, with all our positivity and everything else that we talk about, we are getting a lot of good reviews on it. So, we just started this a couple weeks ago, and we hope to continue this for a long run.
Yeah, well, listen, we wish you guys nothing but the best of luck, and I look forward to having you on the show, Julie, when we're talking about the first round in the playoffs as the Indianapolis Colts are getting ready to dominate. She is Julie Voigt at NFL_Vibe. You can follow her also on her Twitter page at JulieNoted_NFL. It's all right there for you on the page. And Julie, I thank you so very much for your time. Good luck. Enjoy the ride. A couple of more weeks. Anything can happen, but you got to get past the Giants next week, first and foremost.
Oh, yes, and that'll be another game I'll be at, so I'll try to, not scream so much and lose my voice.
I love it. All right, Julie Voigt, thank you so very much for taking some time. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
You got it. All right, Julie Voigt, love that NFL vibe. Got to check it out, guys. Between her and Russell Baxter, two of the best follows on Twitter. Make sure you check it out. NFL_vibe. How cool is that at the game? And how many Cowboy fans were in the stands? She was telling us there in that game. Cowboy fans travel, man. They travel big time. There were a ton in the stands in that game yesterday, but ultimately they hit the exits. I think they hit the exits rather quickly there after just a total smackdown, 23-0. Cowboy fans very quiet today on social media and places. Not hearing a lot from the Cowboy fans because they were barking up a storm over the last 5 weeks. Hottest team in the NFL. Here come them Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Man, when they get it rolling, Cowboy fans never shut up. But all of a sudden, as soon as they get smoked like they did yesterday, it's crickets, man. We got crickets from Cowboy fans today. But listen, it ain't over. 2 weeks left in the NFL season. A lot can happen, but I am fairly certain there aren't an awful lot of teams that are lining up and going, wow, let's hope we get the Colts. Because that's a real team. That's a real coaching staff. That's a real quarterback. And, yeah, that's a real defense. So the Colts are here, folks. They are the real deal. All right, welcome in. If you are just joining us, it is the Joe Raineri Show on this Monday Night Football edition as we get you ready for that. Joe D'Amico, that's right, our good friend Joe D'Amico, AASIwins.com. He's got your winner tonight. We'll go ahead and play that for you coming up in just about 22 minutes or so. Also, Scott, the CEO of HalftimeMagic.com, he is going to join us, and he is going to help best explain why it is that if you are making bets and laying bets prior to halftime, you may need to reevaluate what you are doing, especially given the fact that we are hearing stories today on how $180,000 money line bets last night on the Rams, which would have netted them around $20,000 in winnings, gone. $70,000 minus 700 money line on the Rams, only to win what, 3,000, 4,000, gone. So there is definitely. It's all about value, and I'm not sure where the value would have lied by laying $180,000 only to win 20, but we're going to talk to Scott. He is the CEO of HalftimeMagic.com. He's going to try and help make sense of it all. He is coming up here in just a minute. We do also want to thank and recognize a few of our sponsors here on the show that make it all happen, including iTicketHub.com. iTicketHub.com is your place to go for any ticket to any event ever known to mankind. I don't even care if it's the birthday party around the corner. If they're selling tickets, you need to get them at iTicketHub.com. Why? Because on the secondary market, there is no place cheaper. We have checked it out. We have researched it. iTicketHub.com is the place to go. Any of the bowl games that you're planning on heading to, an NBA game, NHL game, whatever it may be, there's only one place for you to go get those tickets, and it's iTicketHub.com. Concerts, chili cook-offs, you name it. We have researched it. They are by far at least 10% cheaper than the StubHubs of the world. So make sure you write that down, iTicketHub.com. That's where you need to go. Also, Good Greek Moving and Storage, Star Greek on your cell phone if you are in the South Florida area. And I don't care if you got to move up 2 flights of stairs. If you need a mover, these are the folks that you got to call. Good Greek Moving and Storage. You can check them out at GreekMoving.com. That's GreekMoving.com. Or simply hit star Greek on your cell phone. That'll put you in contact with them. So Joe D'Amico coming up here in just about 20 minutes. I do want to get you your TrendyBets.com NBA free play of the day. This was a bet that was, 4-1 last week? They went 4-1 on their free NBA plays of the day. They are over 60% over the last 30 days on this show. We love our peeps over at TrendyBets.com. Transparent, quality, and they win. I mean, the bottom line is at the end of the day, they have been laying out nothing but winners, not only for us, but for their clients. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you follow them at TrendyBets and check out the website, TrendyBets.com. They've got packages, all price ranges, all lengths. They got something for everybody at TrendyBets.com. So let's check out what that free NBA play of the day is today. We are looking at the Trailblazers at the Clippers. Clippers laying 2.5. Total is 219. What do we know? Well, we know the Trendy Bets crew, they love the Trailblazers plus 2.5 tonight. They are looking at Portland on the road, taking on the Clippers. They don't care. Trailblazers 11-5 ATS in their last 16 versus the NBA Pacific. The Clippers, by the way, 1-5 ATS in their last 6 overall. However, the Trailblazers been on fire, 4-1 ATS in their last 5 meetings in L.A. Trailblazers are getting 2.5. The folks at TrendyBets.com, they want you to go ahead and lay that 2.5. Actually, I'm sorry, take that 2.5. Take Portland, the Trailblazers, plus 2.5 tonight. And that is your NBA free play of the day, courtesy of TrendyBets.com. Make sure that you guys head over to TrendyBets.com. Get yourself that free play, not only in the NBA, but they've got college hoops there. They've got NFL. They got bowl game packages. You name it. Head over to TrendyBets.com. And as long as you're surfing, make sure you guys head over to MiamiAccurate.com as well. 'Tis the season to save, and you are saving right now at Miami Accurate. If you are in the market for a new or certified pre-owned car, there is only one place to go, MiamiAccurate.com. South Dixie Highway, those of you in the 305 in Palmetto Bay, or you can call them at 855-564-4669. That's 855-564-4669. The time is now to be able to take advantage of the sales and the end-of-year deals. The best part about all of these right now is maybe the price. So don't know how long it's going to last. Now would be the time for you to head over to MiamiAccurate.com. All right, coming up, Joe D'Amico, AASIwins.com. He's got your Monday Night Football winner. But first... welcome in, guys. Happy Monday. You know, I couldn't think of a better person to bring on today than our good friend Scott. He's the CEO of HalftimeMagic.com. And you guys that have been following the show, been watching the show, then, you know, we like to talk to Scott once a week to kind of highlight the ability and what it brings to the table, the advantage, the edge of waiting until you see a half before actually placing a bet. And there was a shining example of last night why HalftimeMagic.com is a place that if you do anything else for the rest of the day, you got to head over and check out what it is. And he joins us via the Miami Acura hotline. And Scott, it was a hell of a weekend. I mean, there were some ups, there were some downs, but the weekend finished strong, and we had a shining example last night with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Rams game of why it is so important that you should probably not lay a bet until halftime. So happy Monday to you. Thanks for coming on, my friend. And for those that are just joining us, Scott, give them a quick rundown of exactly what HalftimeMagic.com is.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so Halftime Magic is it's exactly what it says. It's halftime betting, or halftime plays, where we are putting out plays after analyzing the actual interaction of these teams in the first half, and then placing our wager after that interaction. With the halftime line that is in our favor.
Yeah. Because it's keeping in mind that the halftime lines don't always adjust accordingly to what the full game line is. So the market tends to be a little bit softer at halftime lines than full game lines. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair to say. What's great about our system in betting at halftime is the lines are derived from a cookie cutter method that's based off the full game line. So these sports books that are putting out the line are the one or two main sports book that set these lines. They are setting the line based on a fraction of what the full game line was. They're not actually privy to the statistics when setting these lines. They don't have enough time to actually scour over statistics, set lines, put them out, get them out to the other information outlets. So they're basically just putting out a line that is based on what the score is and what the actual game line was to derive a line for the second half. So that is where the second half of the edge is, right? So the first half is obviously the interaction. You get to see how these teams are actually matching up instead of blindly betting them before the game starts and hoping they match up to what's on paper. You're actually seeing the physical matchup of these two teams. Then the second half of the edge is you are getting a line that many, many, many times is soft, where it's just based off a full game line and it has nothing to do with the actual interaction.
I think, and a perfect example of this, so the viewers that are just joining us for the very first time, welcome in. He is Scott. He's the CEO of HalftimeMagic.com, and his entire system is based upon not doing anything until you have an opportunity to gather some data and be able to see with your own eyes what's going on in the first half of a game before you lay any sort of money down or any sort of action down in the on the game until the second half. And here's the perfect example. Last night, you've got a Rams team at home taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. This line was as high as 14. Some people had it. The Philadelphia Eagles getting 14. It went off maybe about 12.5, 13, depending on the book. But this was a monster double-digit line by the Rams laying at home against an Eagles team who just a year ago were world champions. And here's my perfect example. You ready? It was reported today that there was one bettor walked into the Mirage, okay, just before kickoff last night. He put up $180,000 on the money line last night. Now, I'll do the math for you. $180K money line bet last night on that game on the Rams would have netted this guy $20,000. So prior to the game, prior to seeing anything, he's so convinced that the Rams are going to blow out the Eagles, he puts up $180K just to win 20. My question is, Scott, does he make that same bet if he's with HalftimeMagic.com?
Well, he may make the same bet, but he'll at least get to see the interaction, to see how the Rams are actually matching up, seeing how Philadelphia is actually playing. And then if he just waited, and even if he didn't watch the first half, if he just waited for the second half, he gets a line that's -6.5. The game was tied at halftime 13-13, so he gets a line that is 6.5 instead of 12.5 or higher. So that alone, he's got an edge, and he's not laying 12.5 anymore. He's only laying 6.5. So yes, he would have been much better off just waiting to see how these teams interacted, especially putting that much money on the line. That's just absurd.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a -700 money line bet, and I believe there were a bunch of these kinds of guys that somebody walked in, an example, $22,200 would have netted them $3,100 on the money line. They went ahead and bet it. I mean, why am I looking at these kinds of numbers, Scott? Help us understand, where is the value in laying that kind of money up front on a money line in a game like that?
There is no value, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you don't know how that's a shining example of, playing off paper stats instead of actually how these teams are matching up, right? I mean, how many times have we seen the best team come out flat or come out, a player gets hurt or whatever the case may be? That's stuff that you have no idea until you're seeing how they're actually interacting, right? I mean, if you're putting that kind of money down to win, to lay those types of odds, you certainly want to see, hey, is this that game actually matching up like I think it's going to match up? Then go ahead and fire. But to do that blindly, that just makes me mad. I wish I would have been around to take that action, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, because it just doesn't make any sense. And that was, I keep seeing these numbers coming in, 20,000, 50,000, 70,000, -700 on the money line. That's a lot of money to risk, especially in the NFL, Scott. And when we go over the numbers, Going into last night's game, NFL favorites of 13 points or more just this year are 6-5 against the spread. So it's not like they're 80. They've been hitting at 80%. And history tells us, too, it doesn't often work out that great for teams in that situation being double-digit favorites. It's not college. It's the NFL. And laying double digits is usually never a great idea in this league.
Right. I mean, especially you said it exactly. It's the NFL. All these players are professional athletes, right? So to lay that kind of lumber, blindly, it's absurd. It's upsetting that, even more so betting on the money line like that. I mean, that's just a perfect example on why you want to wait to see how teams are actually interacting. That would have been a perfect example, like I said, is yesterday. All right, Nick Foles is coming back. He's starting for the first time. He's going to try to work his magic like he did last year that led him to Super Bowl MVP, right? So you kind of want to see, hey, is he going to come out? Is he scared? Or does he look like he did last year when he perform the same magic? He came out and looked like he did last year, right? Then you're way more informed going into halftime. Like, okay, do I still want to lay this 6.5, or am I just going to sit this one out? Right? It's just such a different world to be able to have that information and take advantage of these lines makers with that information.
And to be fair, the numbers I just gave you were covering. Now, the fact that they had money line bets. There were 11 teams going into last night that had been favorites of 13 points or more, and of those 11, 3 had lost outright. So 8-3 money line when it comes to 13 or more favorites. The Vikings lost to the Bills in Week 3. The Packers had lost to the Cardinals in Week 13. And no, it's actually 2. There were only 2 out of the 11 that had lost outright and didn't win. So people, I guess, they're looking at that going, all right, 9-2. There's a good chance that they're going to at least win. But that's an awful lot of action to lay on just such a little return.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't know how the teams are interacting.
And especially if you're looking at the halftime number, you could have also, you probably would have had better odds on the second half money line for them too as well if you were going to risk that kind of money. So it doesn't make any sense, but from an outsider looking in, guys, that's the whole point of investing in Scott and halftimemagic.com, because it takes a lot of the variance and the guesswork out of the equation when you have an opportunity to see how the teams are performing. And it didn't take you didn't have to be a genius, Scott, to look at that game last night, watch the first half, and go, the Rams are in trouble here. Forget about covering. The Rams are in trouble in this game.
Yeah, they certainly were. They had their run game shut down first half, and Foles looked, he looked perfectly comfortable. So, I mean, do you want to lay, 13 points, or halftime? Do you want to lay 6.5?
Yeah.
But at least you have a better chance, laying the 6.5 the second half than the full 13. Because there's no way they were covering 13 the way they looked the first half.
No way. And there was another example over the weekend, the halftimemagic.com shining example over the weekend, I think, was Troy in basketball taking on Western Kentucky. Now, that game was right around 10.5. Western Kentucky was a 10.5-point favorite for a lot of the week. It might have went off at 10, 9.5, depending on your book. But you're looking at a double-digit favorite going up against a Troy team. And if you would have bet it prior versus the halftime, you're talking about 2 different examples, Scott, 2 different values looking at this game over the weekend.
Right, so that game, like you said, it was Western Kentucky minus 10.5, and at halftime, Troy State was actually up 3. So the way these books work, or the lines makers work, they try to bring that line as close to that negative 10, minus 10 that the original game was at. So second half, Troy State was getting 7.5 points. They were up 3, so that would still make Western Kentucky, a 4-point underdog. I'm sorry, a 4-point favorite in the second half. Granted, it didn't get all the way back to 10, but you still have, players that don't know what they're doing say, hey, wow, okay, I'm going to bet Western Kentucky the second half. And lo and behold, if you follow us, we took Troy State second half we knew, and they were winning outright, and we knew getting 7 was absurd. And, that line should have been about pick 'em second half, and they ended up winning the game outright. So that's a perfect example of, a team that is a double-digit underdog, and you have no idea how they're going to interact until the actual first half goes off, and then you get a huge 7 points in your favor the second half, just because Western Kentucky was a 10-point favorite for the game. And, they outplayed him first half, and you're getting 7 points. I mean, what more could you ask for?
No, you couldn't. It was, and there are example after example each and every night that we see of this, which is why it is so important for you guys. Listen, take a look. Visit halftimemagic.com. It is a different way to approach sports investing, but I think that you can see with the examples that we're giving you here, there's a reason why maybe the edge, and maybe it's a little bit more profitable to wait until halftime before you go ahead and start placing bets down, especially ride the market. See what the market is offering you. You're always, we talk about it, always looking for that edge, looking for value. Well, there's a ton of value once you have an opportunity to see how two teams interact, and then you look at the market. Did the market adjust accordingly or didn't it? And then that's how you gain an edge in the second half. That's ultimately what halftimemagic.com is all about, Scott.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I mean, it's the ultimate edge, and
yeah.
I can't remember the last time we played a full game line. Right? It's just it's kind of sacrilegious now to do that. We just can't bring ourselves to do it. We want to see how these teams interact because they are human beings. These are not machines, and to know how they're actually interacting that day is the ultimate advantage.
Yep. And now and Scott's on the phone right now, and listen, there's examples like this each and every night, whether it be college basketball, the NBA, college football, NFL. There's examples of this all the time, and Scott does this each and every week on the show. He's going to extend the offer again to you viewers right now and listeners. That's the halftimemagic.com text line. It's 305-791-3839. That's 305-791-3839. You text us right now who you think tonight's winner is going to be. The line is Carolina +6. So we'll do a little experiment here. Currently, Carolina +6. Text us who you think, based upon the line, is going to win tonight's game. And by doing so, you'll be eligible to win a free, not 1, but 2-day pass, courtesy of halftimemagic.com. So you guys can experience it for yourself, get the alerts, start getting into the halftimemagic.com swing of things. Just text us right now, +6 Carolina. Who do you have tonight? 305-791-3839. It'll be interesting, Scott, to see who's going to choose, who's going to lay the 6, who's going to take the 6 tonight, and then what would we be looking at halftime tonight based upon what we see in the first half of this game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if the it's New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Right? New Orleans, Carolina.
Yep.
Right. So the thing is, even if New Orleans is up 10 at halftime, that line is probably going to be right around pick'em to maybe -1. So you're not going to be giving up that much if you like New Orleans, by waiting to halftime to see how they're interacting, right? So I have a feeling New Orleans is going to dominate tonight. I haven't been impressed with Carolina, but I'm going to say New Orleans is up. I'm going to say they're up 7 at halftime, and that line's going to be a -1 New Orleans, and they go on to win by 14 or more.
There you go. 305-791-3839. Text us right now who you got. +6 for Carolina. You taking Carolina, or are you going to lay the points with New Orleans? Text us your winner tonight, and you too can be eligible for a free 2-day pass of plays and access to halftimemagic.com. He is Scott. He is the CEO. Scott, it is always a pleasure to be able to hang with you, man, and talk some, and talk about edges and talk about different ways. There's so many different ways to go about this industry and this business. It's not just full game lines and overs and unders. There's a lot of nuance to this industry and this business, and I guess there's more than one way to be able to be profitable, isn't there?
Yeah, and you got to remember, sports books are not in business to lose, right? So they're in it to make money and try to attract bettors on both sides. But there are no gimmies in sports betting for the full game lines and totals and over-unders and things like that. What you want to always try to find is some kind of edge that you can exploit and halftime wagering is by far the ultimate edge.
That's why you got to get halftimemagic.com. Go ahead and text us right now, 305-791-3839. Who you taking tonight? Who's going to win the Monday Night Football battle? All right, Scott, always a pleasure, man. We will do this again next Monday. Good luck. We'll talk again.
Thanks for having me, Joe. I appreciate it.
You got it. Scott, halftimemagic.com. Text us, 305-791-3839. Always good to get a different perspective on things, which is why we love halftimemagic.com, because it forces you to look at things just a little bit differently. It's all about playing the markets. It's all about finding value. And in a lot of situations, the best value is usually found at halftime. So definitely encourage you guys, head over to halftimemagic.com, or if you would like that 2-day free pass, you want access to plays for 2 days, courtesy of halftimemagic.com, then all you've got to do is text us right now on the show, and that text number is 305-791-3839. Tell us who you got tonight. New Orleans laying 6 or Carolina getting 6? 305-791-3839. 3839. You too could be eligible to win 2 days worth of free plays at halftimemagic.com. All right, coming up, the man himself, Mr. Monday Night Football, Joe D'Amico. He joins us each and every Friday on the show. He had he's got a take on tonight's Monday Night Football game. And when I tell you that he is Mr. Monday Night Football, I am telling you he is Mr. Monday Night Football. He's documented 14-1 in his last 15 years with his Monday Night Football game of the year. He chooses one a year. He is 14-1 over the last 15. You cannot go wrong with this. In fact, he's got a really, really, really good feel as to what is going to happen tonight. He is known as Mr. Monday Night Football, so we are going to let you hear exactly from Joe D'Amico who he likes in tonight's Monday Night Football game between New Orleans and Carolina. But before we do that, we do have to thank just a few more of our sponsors that make this happen here on the show. Low Cost Airlines, Superior Cruise and Travel, and of course, our good friends at Miami Acura. So if you're planning on traveling over the holidays, pick up the phone, call Low Cost Airlines, 800-761-1427, or maybe a cruise is what you want to do. You want to get the hell out of here, go float away for 3 or 4 days, 7 days. Superior Cruise and Travel, 800-901-5536. All right, coming up, the man, Mr. Monday Night Football, Joe D'Amico. He's going to lay it out for you. Who wins tonight and why? Coming up in exactly 93 seconds. Don't go anywhere. It's the Joe Raineri Show.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now for a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain. What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Call 855-720-BACK. 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 That's 855-720-BACK.
Where do you want to go on a vacation or honeymoon? The Caribbean, Europe, Hawaii, Mexico? How about Disney or a cruise? At Superior Cruise and Travel, we've got you covered. We'll assign you your own travel concierge. They'll help you design a custom vacation plan that you can't find online. And the service is completely free. You can't compare the value of this to any other online travel company. We can help you plan a custom vacation anywhere in the world. We even offer payment plans with no credit card required. Now you pay off your vacation on your time schedule. Call now and mention the promo code RADIO and save up to $500. Book your custom trip. Call Superior Cruise and Travel now and talk to one of the highest rated travel agencies in the country with a 5-star A+ online rating.
800-901-5536. 800-901-5536. 800-901-5536. That's 800-901-5536.
Welcome back in. It's the Joe Raineri Show. Happy Monday. Brought to you by YouWager.eu. It is where America bets. It's also where this show bets. And if you are tired of having the hassle of trying to not only deposit but actually try and get your winnings out of a sports book, don't worry and don't do anything else with them. Just simply call YouWager.eu today, 800-YouWager. That's 1-800-YouWager. I've been with these guys now for 6 months. I have never, ever, ever had an issue with them, which is why I have no problem recommending them to you. One of the most frustrating things in the world, and I've been with a lot of sports books, one of the most frustrating thing in the world is trying to get it deposited, your money, and then trying to get it out. I've had no problems with YouWager.eu. Ease of convenience, the best lines in the business. It is definitely a place that you would want to house your money to take action from. 1-800-YouWager. That's 1-800-YouWager. Give them the code JRS50. That's JRS50. And get yourself a 50% sign-up bonus right now. So call them. Don't wait. Call them at 800-YouWager. That's 1-800-YouWager. And use the code JRS50 and get yourself a 50% sign-on bonus. Love our peeps over at YouWager. Also want to thank WagerTalk.com. Ralph Michaels, the legend, feeling a little bit better. He'll be back tomorrow, getting ready to talk a little college basketball with us. Looking forward to that. Also, our friends at TrendyBets.com. And if you are just joining us and you didn't get a chance to check out the TrendyBets.com free NBA play of the day, 4-1 they were last week on this play, over 60% the last 30 days on this show. Here's what they've got for you. Trailblazers, Clippers tonight. Clippers laying 2.5 at home. The over-under 219. All signs, according to Trendy Bets, are pointing to the Blazers getting 2.5. That is your TrendyBets.com free play of the day. Keep it rolling. Like I said, over the last 30 days, this free play on the show, one a day, Monday through Friday, we bring to you. One a day, been over 60%. 4-1 last week alone. So now would be the time for you guys to take advantage. Head over to TrendyBets.com. Also, iTicketHub.com. That's your place to go. You're looking to go to a bowl game. You want to go to a hockey game. Maybe you want to go to see the Maple Leafs play. You want to go see Edmonton, or maybe you want to get the hell out of town and go see the Rangers play. You want to go see the Miami Heat play. Doesn't make a difference. Chili cook-off. If there is a ticket for sale, including that weird guy's party around the block for New Year's, call iTicketHub.com. Just log on iTicketHub.com. They are the cheapest secondary market provider of seats that I have seen, and we have priced it out. Forget StubHub, forget Vivid, forget all of them. iTicketHub.com will save you the most amount of money and get you the best seats. And if you use JRS18 at checkout, you'll get an even bigger discount. iTicketHub.com. That's iTicketHub.com. That's where you want to go. All right, so I told you Joe D'Amico is Mr. Monday Night Football. Why? Over the last 15 years, okay, his pick line, his free pick line, there is one a year, one Monday Night Football game of the year. He's 14-1 over the last 15. In fact, it's very simple. If you use that pick line phone number, and I've got it for you somewhere around here. I know I do. But if you use that pick line phone number, 1-800-563-8854, you will get his free pick of the day each and every day. So it is definitely a phone number that you want to keep around. This is a phone number that you are always going to want to have readily available. Here it is for you. One more time. There it is, Joe D'Amico, 800-563-8854. That is your free winner each and every day. And he's got packages, too, available across every price bracket and category, depending on what you want. But Joe joins us each and every Friday here on the show. And he joined us last Friday. And he had some thoughts on tonight's Monday Night Football game between the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. So here's Joe D'Amico, and here normally I think this pick is what is it, about $25 a pick? $100? It's $100? Yeah. So here you go. It's for free here on the show. This is Joe D'Amico and who he likes. New Orleans, Carolina tonight, Monday Night Football. Take a listen. Underdog. What do you like?
Joe, I've been Don, the king of Monday Night Football over the years. I don't play every single Monday night game. I'm very selective, but over the years, Geez Louise, it just seems like every year I have such a whopping percentage on Monday nights, and this is going to be no different. I really like this game a lot. And normally in a situation where a team is playing the third consecutive game on the road, they're a go against. But the Saints aren't a normal team. They bounced back from their first loss since week 1 to win and cover last week over the Buccaneers. Second half, they outscored the Bucs 25-0. That shows me, as not just an athlete or a sports fan, but also as a sports bettor, just how good this team is. They were losing the first half. They came back 25-0 in the second half. That does a lot. That tells me what they're made of. They're 11-2. They control their own home field destiny in NFC playoffs. I expect Drew Brees and company, who, by the way, number 2 offense scoring in football, 34.4 a game, to notch another big win over division rival. They have beaten 3 straight meetings. Carolina, they're on a 5-game losing no cover slide. They're a one-man offense. I love Christian McCaffrey. Love when he played in college. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy, too. Got to meet him. He leads the team, though, in rushing, receiving, and touchdowns. It's not good to have that, because that gives defenses like this, and this is a very stingy Saints defense, they're getting better and better each week. They can key on him, I'll be honest with you. And speaking of the Saints, they haven't given up better than 17 points over the last 5 contests. New Orleans 4-0 against the number of the last 4. In Carolina, 20-6 against the spread, the last 26 on the road. They get bettors paid on the road. There was a time you only played the Saints at home. 20 out of the last 26 times that they came in and was a guest in somebody's stadium, they got us paid, and they're 8-1 the last 9 versus NFC opponents. I'm taking the Saints here under the touchdown. This game is going to get uglier than if Larry Bird and Whoopi Goldberg had a love child. I'm going to tell you now.
That is some ugly shit. Oh, that is some. I don't even want to go there. That was some ugliness. But yes, that is correct. Bottom line is Saints. He's taking the Saints all day long here. Joe D'Amico, Mr. Monday Night Football, 14-1 over the last 15 years in his Monday Night Football game of the year. It's taking place tonight between the Saints and the Carolina Panthers. Now, last I checked, I believe, as we head over to our good friends at YouWager.eu to check the line, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at 6. It hasn't moved off of that. It did open up a little bit higher than that. 6.5 is where it originally, I believe, opened it up. But a lot of public money, a lot of public support getting behind them. That's moved the line down to +6. The under has also received a lot of big money here over the week. Almost 75% of the money bet is been on the over, which has dropped the total from 54 to 49.5. I think it's at 50 right now, according to YouWager.eu. So here's some of the trends to know. I mean, you heard from Joe D'Amico there, but keep in mind that usually the really good teams this time of year tend to get overvalued a little bit. Since 2003, teams that have won 80% or more of their games, just like the Saints have, they've gone 114, 146, and 3. That's 44% against the spread in December. And those teams struggle even more when they are a top-scoring elite offense. Same thing since 2003. Teams that have won at least 80% of their games and are averaging at least 30 points per game, 33, 55, and 1. Only 37.5% ATS in December or January or later, including 8 and 16 ATS in prime time, 10, 25, and 1 ATS on the road. So all these numbers are pointing towards or at least all the trend numbers are pointing towards the Carolina Panthers, who will be getting 6 points tonight. Over, under, right around 49.5 and 50. I know there's a lot of people like the over in this game, think that between both of these teams, they'll tend to probably score a little bit more. These teams usually do that. They usually go at each other on that. The Panthers find themselves also in a pretty interesting spot. They are just the third team since 2003 to lose at least 5 consecutive games straight up and ATS in the month of December or later. And it's been close. The amount of points that they have lost per margin in those games, only 1. So Carolina is losing, but unfortunately they're not losing by much. They have been on the precipice of a few victories here in the month of December. It has not happened. Now, this game doesn't necessarily, they need it more than New Orleans does, with the Rams losing, of course. New Orleans is pretty much has a straight shot towards the number 1 seed in the NFC. But Carolina, if they lose tonight, it's not as if they are out of the playoff hunt. They are still very much alive in it. But this game would go a long, long way into helping Carolina get back on track. They need this victory. You and I both know that Cam Newton is not the same Cam Newton of old. There is something going on with that shoulder. It pains me to watch this man try and throw football. I don't know if you guys have noticed this as well, but he looks like I throw lefty. And when I tell you, watching me throw a ball lefty is painful enough, but it's not nearly as painful as watching him try to throw a football and what it's horrible. And there's obviously something wrong with Cam Newton's shoulder. He is not the same Cam Newton that we know. So that has affected him. And like Joe D'Amico said, this team is all about Christian McCaffrey. If Christian McCaffrey goes, they go. If Christian McCaffrey doesn't go, there's really nobody else that has been able to step up and take that kind of production on the team and put it on their shoulders. So it's going to be a very, 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 very difficult way. If they were able to stop Christian McCaffrey, it's going to be very tough for the Carolina Panthers to be able to pull this game out. Now, let me see our good friends over at Cashflow Sports. Let's see what they've got to say here. Cashflow Sports says, I talked the concept briefly and 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and he did, as a matter of fact. Our good friend over at Cashflow Sports actually did cover this concept a whole bunch of times here. Certainly on his Twitter page and on the show, and we appreciate him, as always, making an appearance, because on this show, the ultimate goal for us is to try and make you a better. It's all about making you a smarter sports investor and a smarter sports gambler. I mean, that's the bottom line of what we do, which is why we bring guys like Cashflow Sports on here. Ralph Michaels tomorrow from WagerTalk.com. Joe D'Amico from AASI Wins. This is why we bring these guys on here. Julie Voigt from NFL Vibe joined us a little bit earlier on the show. We bring on these national NFL and sports writers because they have a pulse as to what's going on with your team and with these teams. So it's always good to be able to not just get the perspective of the professional sports handicapper, but it's also great to be able to get the perspective of the people who are in the locker room with these teams, which is why we bring that's why we bring the Russell Baxters on. That's why we bring on the Anthony Changs of the world from the Miami Herald. We bring these guys on because they're there. They know. It's one thing for us to be able to handicap a game all night long and look at data. It's a whole nother thing to be able to hear from the beat reporters who are in the locker rooms with these guys and try to get a vibe as to what is going on. And Julie Voigt today joining us from the Colts. She did that yesterday. And, she said it. If you missed it, and I would encourage you guys to make sure that you definitely check out the interview here. It'll be available once we're done. But Julie said, man, there is an air with that Colts team and in and around that team where they're starting to get this air of invincibility. And the Colts have been doing it, let's face it, under the radar with not a lot of fanfare. I mean, it's not a big media market anyway, Indianapolis. But, man, Andrew Luck and what Frank Wright has been able to do and how they've built that team from the offensive line out. And we've said it before here on the show, and that's what I was so happy yesterday that the Jets lost on Saturday. They had no business winning that game. But I was so happy that they lost, and then San Francisco went out of their way to win a game because now the Jets moved up to the 3rd spot in the draft. And the reason I'm happy with that is because you have your quarterback. You figured out to get the hardest piece of the bunch, right? You got the quarterback, and now how you build a team is from the offensive line, from the center out. Okay, you don't waste a first-round draft pick on a wide receiver, okay? And there's very few running backs very few Saquon Barkleys that I would go out that are going to be that big of a difference maker. The Jets have an opportunity now with Sam Darnold with some high draft picks. Even if they were to trade down and get more draft picks in return there, you're going to build that team from the center out. That is what the Colts have done just recently. The Colts went and got Andrew Luck, and then they started getting all of these other, let's get weapons around him, but they forgot that Andrew Luck needed to be protected. And they finally, this past year, they had an excellent draft. offensive line. Now all of a sudden Andrew Luck is not getting hit nearly as much as he has in the past. He's got time back there. Andrew Luck didn't even throw for 200 yards, didn't throw for a touchdown, and that team dismantled a Dallas Cowboys team who, by the way, going into yesterday's game was third against the rush, okay? Their defense was third against the rush. Marlon Mack ran all over them. They ran all over that Dallas defense, and Andrew Luck did not have to win the game for them. Now, you keep putting Andrew Luck in a position like that, it's going to be very difficult. I would not want to be like, all right, great, we get the Colts in the first round of the playoffs. Oh, hell no. This is not a team. Defensively, they are outstanding. Offensively, way better than the numbers show, way better than people are giving them credit for, and you've got a healthy Andrew Luck, which makes the Indianapolis Colts, to me, a dark horse in this as we head to the playoffs. They got to take care of business against the Giants. Then, of course, they're going to end up against the Titans in the final game of the season, and you got to love that. So the scheduling actually worked out for the fans, where the final week 17, we've got Colts, Titans, and it could be in a position for whoever wins will be in. And right now in the AFC, as you're looking at it, as I'm looking at the AFC, you got the Chiefs with the 1 seed right now, conference record 9-2, 11-3 overall. Texans are second. They are 10-4 with an 8-3 conference record. The Patriots are third. Boy, the Patriots got old in a hurry, didn't they? Holy shit. Did you guys, I mean, is it me, or did Tom Brady and everybody around the Patriots all of a sudden look like they're 40-some-odd years old? Because it looks like they got old really quick. That is not the same Patriots team. Losing back-to-back like that to the Dolphins the way they did, and then on the road to the Steelers. Yeah, no, they got old real quick. I'm not sure who they're going to beat with that defense, but they have the number 3 spot right now. Steelers are 4th. The Chargers, here's the problem with the AFC, if you are fighting for that spot, is you got the Chargers are 11-3. They're going to lock up the number 5 seed if they don't end up taking over the Chiefs. But seed is taken, which means you've got the Ravens, the Titans, the Colts, and I'm not even going to mention the Dolphins because, let's face it, that's ridiculous, even though they're still mathematically in it. And you even have the Browns. And who, by the way, who had, raise your hand, who had the Browns over 5.5 wins this year? Because I do believe 5.5 was the, if I'm not mistaken, 5.5 was the futures number to start the year. There's got to be some people out there, and they're probably Browns fans that were cashing tickets this week. 6 wins. How many of you had the Browns at 6 wins? Don't lie. I mean, raise your hand. How many of you had the Browns at 6 wins? I don't see that at all. How do you think McCaffrey will do tonight is what we've got coming in there. Let me see who that is from, as a matter of fact. Matt joining us via YouTube live. Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much for stopping by, brother. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to get his. I think they're going to sell out on the Saints defense. I think they are going to make Cam Newton beat them. I don't think they're going to let Christian McCaffrey beat them. I think they are of the mindset, as a lot of other teams have been over the last couple of weeks, of anybody but McCaffrey. That's it. Who else is going to step up? Devin Funchess, I don't know if he's even playing. The kid DJ Moore is actually having a pretty solid season. No Olsen, no Greg Olsen. So if I'm the Saints right now, I'm going anybody but McCaffrey. That's it. I know Cam Newton's arm is not what it used to be, so I'm really not interested in – I'm not worried about Cam Newton beating us deep, even though they don't have one of the best defensive secondaries against the pass, but I'm not letting Christian McCaffrey beat me. Anybody but Christian McCaffrey, that would be my motto tonight. So if you are counting on Christian McCaffrey because you're in the semifinals of your fantasy league, listen, you got to ride with him one way or the other. If you're looking for prop bets, I'm not sure what his numbers are tonight. But I don't think he's going to be. He might be over 100 total yards, but I don't think he's going to get more. He's not going to go over 100 rushing tonight. I don't see that happening. He might go over a total combined rushing and receiving, but I think they're just going to sell out to stop Christian McCaffrey tonight, the Saints are, and let Cam Newton, go ahead, Cam, let's see that shoulder of yours. It's painful to watch, so let's see how you're going to do. I think that's how it's going to end up playing out for Christian McCaffrey. But the Chargers with the The Chargers with the number 5 spot. That means the Ravens, the Colts, and the Titans are all going to be battling for that final spot. And we know that the Colts and the Titans are going to play at the end. So the Ravens, are the Ravens going to let them back into it? That is going to be the big question there. So a lot to be decided about. They're still fighting, as a matter of fact, with the Steelers. The Ravens are still hoping to get that number 4 seed as opposed to the number 5 seed. So a lot is going to be determined in the AFC over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be fun to watch and see exactly what happens there. Want to welcome those of you in that are joining us via Facebook Live. It's good to see you guys. Jeremy, Tara, Allison, Peter. Always a pleasure to see you guys. Thank you very much for making us a part of your day. Pretty simple, too, guys. If you're on Facebook or Twitch right now, and I see you, Dracula, on Twitch, along with Anthony, good to see you guys on Twitch joining us. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the videos that are going on here, interact with them, give us those thumbs up. The reason being is because that's how it works on social media. If you're not going to spend $6 trillion trying to market your videos, then the way they'll put this content in front of more people is by you guys interacting with us. So the more you interact with us, the better chance we have of reaching more people. And the goal of the Joe Raineri Show is to simply try and make people better sports bettors, trying to make you a better, trying to make you a smarter sports investor. The only way I know how to do that is by talking to some of the smartest people in the industry, talking to the likes of Julie Voigt from NFL Vibe, talking to the people who cover these teams, trying to get you guys as much knowledge as humanly possible to make a smart investing decision. That's ultimately what our goal is, and we can do that the more you guys interact here. Like the video, subscribe to the channels, follow us, do all of those good things, and we would certainly appreciate that. Jim Jacks, also a pleasure to see you. Thank you very much for following us here on Twitter and Periscope. You guys have been great, man. Monday Night Football. Joe D'Amico, Mr. Monday Night Football. You heard it from him. Joe D'Amico likes the Saints. And once again, if you did not hear what he had to say, I'll play it back for you. But Joe D'Amico, he's laying out the numbers for you. 14-1 over the last 15 years. His Monday Night Football play of the year. 14-1 over the last 15 years. This is who he likes this year. Underdog. What do you like?
Joe, I've been Don, the king of Monday Night Football over the years. I don't play every single Monday night game. I'm very selective. But over the years, geez Louise, it just seems like every year I have such a whopping percentage on Monday nights, and this is going to be no different. I really like this game a lot. And normally in a situation where a team is playing the third consecutive game on the road, they're a go against. But the Saints aren't a normal team. They bounced back from their first loss since week 1 to win and cover last week over the Buccaneers. Second half, they outscored the Bucs 25-0. That shows me, as not just an athlete or a sports fan, but also as a sports bettor, just how good this team is. They were losing the first half. They came back 25-0 in the second half. That does a lot. That tells me what they're made of. They're 11-2. They control their own home field destiny in the NFC playoffs. I expect Drew Brees and company, who, by the way, number 2 offense scoring in football, 34.4 a game, to notch another big win over division rival. They have beaten 3 straight meetings. Carolina, they're on a 5-game losing no cover slide. They're a one-man offense. I love Christian McCaffrey. Love when he played in college. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy, too. Got to meet him. He leads the team, though, in rushing, receiving, and touchdowns. It's not good to have that, because that gives defenses like this, and this is a very stingy Saints defense, they're getting better and better each week. They can key on him, I'll be honest with you. Speaking of the Saints team, they haven't given up better than 17 points over the last 5 contests. New Orleans 4-0 against the number of the last 4. In Carolina, 20-6 against the spread, the last 26 on the road. They get bettors paid on the road. There was a time you only played the Saints at home. 20 out of the last 26 times that they came in and was a guest in somebody's stadium, they got us paid, and they're 8-1 the last 9 versus NFC opponents. I'm taking the Saints here under the touchdown. This game is going to get uglier than if Larry Bird and Whoopi Goldberg had a love child. I'm going to tell you now.
That is some ugly shit. Yeah, that is totally some ugly shit. But we do want to thank Joe D'Amico. Don't forget, Fridays, he joins us here on the show every Friday, getting you ready to be profitable over the weekend. He's all in on the Saints. He loves the Saints, even though the trends and a lot of the, everyone's telling you to go right or left. I'm not sure which way this is. Right. Joe likes to go left. He's a contrarian, even though a lot of the signs are pointing towards towards the Carolina Panthers in this game. He's going to lay the points. He's going to take the Saints 14-1 over the last 15 Monday Night Football games of the year, and this is his game of the year tonight. He loves it. He loves the Saints. So make sure that you guys check out Joe D'Amico too on Friday here on the show, but don't forget this phone number, 800-563-8854. That is a number, that number one right there, that is a number to get you his free winner a day. Just pick up that number, call him, he'll give you a free winner of what he likes, no charge. It's very simple, 1-800-563-8854, and you get to hang out with the legend himself, Mr. Joe D'Amico. But tonight it's all about the Saints, and the Saints, the Panthers rather, they cannot be eliminated if they lose. They obviously need this win in order to stay in the conversation. Washington managed to win a game with a quarterback that hasn't played since 1986. I'm not even sure how the hell they did that. That just goes to tell you how terrible the Jacksonville Jaguars are. But Washington managed to win. The Cowboys lost. So Washington is not out of it yet. The Titans and the Eagles are still on the schedule for the Carolina Panthers. Titans and the Eagles. And those two also are battling for, to keep their playoff hopes alive. So Philadelphia already owns a head-to-head win over Washington, and that series can be evened out in Week 17 because that's how they're going to end the season with. But that looked like the Philadelphia Eagles of last year, didn't it, last night? Wasn't that, where's that team been? So it's something about Nick Foles coming in the second half of the year that just ignites that team and gets them going. I don't know how else to explain it, but that did not look like the Eagles of the first half of the NFL season at all. And the Eagles, they had a couple of games that they blew late. The overtime loss to Tennessee was just abysmal. That was terrible. And then just a couple of weeks ago, too, they lost a big lead in the first half of a game. So the Eagles might have been able to put it back together. The Cowboys still could have made or could have clinched their playoff lives yesterday if Washington would have lost or Philadelphia. But since none of that happened and the Cowboys forgot that there's an end zone and you actually need to score points in order to be able to win a game, Cowboys got to keep playing, as do everyone else. The Rams are still fighting for that first round bye, but the Saints, if I'm not mistaken, have already won their division, and they too, with a win tonight, would pretty much clinch that first round bye. But they're going tonight to win this game. I know there is this idea that the Saints don't have anything to play for. The Saints have not looked great over the last 3 to 4 weeks. So they looked very sluggish in the game last week against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Prior to that, it just hasn't looked like what this Saints team was, the first 8, 9, 10 games of the season. So they're going to take this game seriously, and I do think that the Saints, they are going to be ready to rock and roll and put up some points tonight on this team. At least I think they are. I'm kind of I'm edging with Joe D'Amico. I'm saying lay the points, lay the 6.5, and go with it. That's what I'm saying. I agree with the legend, Mr. Joe D'Amico, tonight. I think the Saints will probably end up winning this double digits. I also do favor the over in this game. It opened up at 54.5, and a boatload of money came in on the under, which has dropped it all the way down to 49.5 in some books, 49.5 in 50. I do like the over in this game. So do with that what you will. All right, once again, I want to thank Scott, the CEO of HalftimeMagic.com, for stopping by here tonight. Make sure that you guys check out HalftimeMagic.com. And also, if you are just joining us, and if you want the opportunity at a free 2-day pass, 2 days worth of free plays, courtesy of HalftimeMagic.com, text us who you like tonight, 305-791-3839. That's 305-791-3839. Text us who you got tonight. Are you laying the 6? Are you taking the 6? Who you got, and give yourself a chance to win a 2-day free pass courtesy of HalftimeMagic.com. TrendyBets.com. Also want to thank them. Their free NBA play of the day. Once again, tonight, Trailblazers getting 2.5 on the road against the Clippers. That's who they think you should go with. So far be it from me to question a group of guys that ended up going, 4-1 last week on their free NBA plays of the day, over 60% the last month with those plays. So that's who they're looking at. Trailblazers tonight getting 2.5 against the Clippers. Let's go to the phones. Welcome in. Happy Monday. Who's this? Hello. All right, good talking to you, man. It was a pleasure to talk to you. And Julie Voigt also. Want to thank Julie Voigt, NFL Vibe, talking Colts with us today. Make sure that you guys check her out at NFL_Vibe. Great stuff. When it comes to the Colts, you want to get your finger on the pulse of what's happening with that team. Julie is definitely somebody you guys want to follow. At NFL_Vibe. That's where you want to go. So this has been an awful lot of fun. You guys are great. Don't forget, as soon as we are done here, you'll have the opportunity to replay not only Julie's interview, but listen to what Scott at halftimemagic.com had to say about how you can avoid dumping $180,000 on a money line to win $20,000. How you can avoid that altogether simply by visiting him at halftimemagic.com. Make sure you like the videos. Make sure you share it, guys. Make sure you come back and join us tomorrow, 4 o'clock. We'll do it all over again. Ralph Michaels, the legend, wagertalk.com. It's all about college hoops tomorrow. He will be joining us. I certainly hope you will be joining us as well tomorrow. And we're back to the phones. Yes, welcome in. Who's this? Nope. Too late. You'll have to join us tomorrow. So on behalf of iTicketHub.com, YouWager.eu, Good Greek Moving and Storage, Halftime Magic, TrendyBets, and Miami Acura, you guys enjoy the night. Good luck tonight. May you guys be cashing some tickets tomorrow so we can come back and all rejoice. Join us tomorrow, 4 o'clock. It's the Joe Raineri Show. Have a great night.